Well, friends, it looks like we had a daughter. Our wife gave birth to another daughter, and this time she is attractive. So we have an ugly daughter and an attractive daughter. So it's a little bit of a weird dynamic there. And I always feel a little bit weird because, who's to say? I mean, I guess you look at a baby, you say, oh, that's a cute baby or whatever. But and then there are some ugly babies, but she will be named Neris after our first Valyrian ancestor in House Bear. That would be the High King Aegon's mother. So a couple generations back, but that will be her name, and we will continue on. This feels like a good time for us to go ahead and begin the process of dividing up the borders and everything in the woods. So sit back, relax. After the intro plays, we'll have a nice little time lapse, and you guys can enjoy seeing kind of my process and where we end up with all of the different kingdoms and how they're divided and who is who in the Kingdom of the Woods. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the final reveal. So this is what we're looking at in terms of where we are with the woods. It's a little hard to see right now, but this is actually, except for the neck, this is part of the North Woods. I've gone ahead and changed the colors. I don't know how permanent that will be. I've done this before and it's always kind of reverted. I think I figured out a method to make it work long term, but I'm not 100% sure. So I've gone ahead and we are looking at, I need to change one thing while I'm talking out loud, just to kind of make sure everything is consistent. I've gone ahead and added to all of the kingdoms, just to make sure that it all stays consistent, and I think it looks better, to be honest with you, and it makes more sense. We have the Den, the North Woods, the Bear's Claw, the Red Woods, the South Woods, the Storm Woods, the Gold Woods, and the Cliffs. And I'm not sure how I feel about all of the names. I would love to hear your feedback down below. And by the way, I hope you really enjoyed that time lapse. It was about it was almost an hour and a half worth of work for me, but that's okay. It was a lot of fun to do, and I'm really pleased with the outcome and how the borders are defined and everything. And I'll give you the reason for it right now, so everybody can kind of understand. So I've used kind of these mountains as a natural border between the north and south of the rock that we've divided in half, and just to kind of give, I have one issue here. Fair Isle is under the Gold Woods. So what I'm gonna do is let's see. We're gonna give title see Fair Isle to the High King Aelix, but I need my number. There we go. I've done this so many times, I don't remember what my number is, but there we go. So I did that. I'm going to go ahead and grant landed title of Fair Isle back to him. That means I'm his liege now, and then I can transfer vassalage of Fair Isle under the Cliffs, which is perfect because it gives us a good jumping off point. The new Lord Paramount, it'll change. I haven't even advanced time at all since I've done all this. The new Lord Paramount of the Cliffs is Lord Paramount Arian Clove. He reigns from the Lordship of Castamere, the Castle of Castamere, and you can see he has an abundance of titles, and I've done that for the specific purpose of allowing him to dish them out to who he desires to. Rather than trying to flood new characters and all that kind of stuff in, I'm going to give the Lord Paramount some control over who gets what, and that way their vassals will like them. So whenever they grant lordships out, those vassals will be appreciative of getting a lordship, and so the vassals will like them, and so their rule would be more secured, which I think is a good touch. And I've also kind of secured Prince Zachary Bear, who had a claim on the rock, the kingdom of the rock, back to him. And so he has some high lordships, but he also has one lordship here in Deep Den to dish out, which will help secure his rule even further. I don't know what he'll do. There's other claimants to the old kingdom of the rock, or what is now the Goldwoods. So it just depends on how we will do everything we can to protect, obviously, the Lord's Paramount. But I've extended the den. If you can take a look, if you can see, I've used these mountain ranges as a natural border between the west and the den, and so the den kind of cuts across the entire center part of the country, and this is mostly due to the fact that House Whitewood is the oldest noble house that was created, and so to kind of give them a little bit more power, we've gone ahead and extended them. It also kind of helps to represent the marriage between the two Lord Paramounts of what was the Southwoods and also the Den, and kind of merging those two houses. So it kind of signifies that as they go across the center. We still have Lord Paramount Roman ruling over the Southwoods, but the Southwoods itself is extended up into Massey's Hook. It kind of follows the edge of this river right here, and goes and is kind of divided by this river right here. So kind of in between two rivers, or encompassing two rivers, plus the little tributary coming off of the river right here in the reach. We also have the Stormwoods, and I love the color here. I don't know what you guys think. I personally like it a lot, but I'm interested to hear what you think. We have a new Lord Paramount, and I'm hoping he actually changes over. Actually, what I want to do, I want to kind of force him to change over. Give me just a second. I'm gonna do C Lawnmouth. Yep, there we go. And then I'm gonna give it back to him. He's currently considering an offer from us, so I'm actually gonna give it to not that guy. I'll give it to this guy. Actually, this guy, no, he doesn't have a claim. Good. Okay. I'm going to grant him the landed title of the Castle of Lawnmouth, so that just to kind of even everything out for right now. So we have a new Lord Paramount. House Roosmont rules the Stormwoods from Storm's End, this huge Stormlander fortress down in the Stormwoods, and it kind of extends further than the normal Stormlands does in kind of the de jure history. I've cut in a little bit from the top right here, from what the Stormlands actually is, from the Crown Lands. I think the Stormlands includes these titles right here, and because I've kind of cut it back a little bit, I've actually extended it further south. So it has Vulture's Roost right here, and then also Weil, and then all the way down into here, Blackhaven, which would normally be House Dundarian, is actually House 7 Star down in there. So yeah, that kind of encompasses what the Stormwoods is and what it looks like. I was debating on how I wanted to divide it. I thought maybe cutting off on the borders right here, but I did want to include Tarth and a lot of the coastline into the Stormwoods, just because that's part of what makes the Stormlands is the fact that they get a lot of that rain and those heavy storms coming off of the sea, and so just to kind of keep a little bit of consistency with the lore, I've done that, and so yeah. So a new noble house here and a new noble house here up in the cliffs. So something interesting. And then you didn't see this in the time lapse. I did it off camera because I wanted to surprise everybody. But I have gone ahead and made the Bear's Claw unified under a different house. It was originally under House Coldwater here in Maidenpool. And you probably saw it up there in the little corner, but we actually have House Weirwood Lord Paramount Edric, the Mountain That Rides, spending his final days, maybe, I don't know how long the guy's going to live, but spending, the bulk of his last little bit of time here in the Kingdom of the Woods as Lord Paramount of the Bear's Claw, just as kind of a reward for his service to the country, to the empire, and allowing him to kind of spend his last days in the most amount of luxury that he possibly can. So House Weirwood will rule the Bear's Claw henceforth. And the reason I put them here in Derry is because it's the largest Riverlander keep in that area. There's not really a whole lot of other ones. There's one in North Crackclaw. There's a large Crownlander keep, but it doesn't make sense. So here's the deal. If you ever look at a map and you see capitals for, countries or for states, they're usually in the center of the country. And the reason for that is because you have more control widespread. And so it didn't make sense for me to put him here on the very edge when all of his land that he was ruling is over this direction. And I know I'm putting him right here when all of the land that he's ruling is in this direction, but it makes more sense for him to be more central to the country as a whole and have more access to the capital here in Bear Hall. Now, one thing that breaks that rule is the new Lord Paramount of the Northwoods, which is House Kodlak up in the north. And the reason for that is actually a different reason than what you might expect, or actually what I just explained. The reason is the Northwoods is going to be our defense from the north. We are probably not going to take the north entirely, and so Moat Cailin separates the north from the south, and so it is a crucial point of access, and so it will be the capital. Whoever is Lord Paramount will rule from there with the power and the ability to keep the realm to the south safe. So kind of like the Wall, but not really like the Wall in terms of defending from like wildlings or from other worldly beings. It's more of a natural defense, separating the nice, or not really nice, but the firm ground of the north from the swamp lands of the neck. And so we will eventually conquer Greywater Watch in particular, and also the Bight and all of that. I'm not gonna take any of these lands over here. This natural impassable mountain border is gonna be a nice place for us to just leave our borders at, and we'll just have the Northwood sticking up into here. It'll be a little bit easier to see once all that's taken care of. So, but yeah, that gives you kind of an idea of what the plan is in the future, which I'll discuss in just a little bit. The Redwoods remains unchanged other than the color. And I went ahead, and you probably saw it in the time lapse. I ended the war that was there. I just called it quits on that. And actually I kind of pacified this little province for the time being. He still hates the liege lord, so we'll see how everything goes with that. I don't know how House Redhorn will handle this going forward, but yeah, this is kind of where we're at. He'll come out of hiding and all that because the war's over, but it's nice to see. Look at all these kids. It's nice to see. Hallion is currently our ward in Bear Hall, and yeah. So like I said, I've kind of made some of these adjustments with the mindset of kind of the natural flow of the Kingdom of the Woods. Let's just take a look and appreciate this really quick. This is the extent of the woods right now. And to think, and I know I say this every time we redefine borders, but to think we started off as a small lord right here. It was originally Stony Sept. We conquered Pink Maiden, we conquered Castlewood, we took the High Lordship, and then we started taking, I think we took the High Lordship of Acorn Hall next, and just kind of from there went west, or went east and conquered, and then began to conquer the lands around, and it's been a amazing journey, and I really am excited about this. But this is kind of the new look. I would love to know what you think, so let me know down in the comment section. I'm sure you will anyways, but you just let me know. And I am, like I said, I'm very pleased. I had considered briefly allowing the cliffs to extend up to here, but the problem is the way the borders are defined, it makes it so that it looks kind of wonky. whenever you do that, because I would have to include both of these counties on here. It looks a little bit jagged, and this looked more aesthetically pleasing, but I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know what you kind of had in mind. And then I kind of had an issue using these natural borders too much, because Cashley Rock is right here, and Cashley Rock is like beastly. I didn't want it to just go to some scrub, so I wanted Castley Rock to be the capital of the Goldwoods, but it makes it a little bit difficult in terms of defining borders around it. So yeah, let me know what you think. We're these are going to change again in the future, just because I think you all know this is kind of the next part of what we're talking about. But the main idea for Aelix is that he will be a conquering king. He'll be a unification and a sort of expanding borders type of king. And I think it was best stated in the comment section of one of the previous videos, is that Aelix is going to be the Alexander the Great of the Kingdom of the Woods. And I think that that's kind of an apt assessment of who Aelix is. So it'll be Alexander the Great. And it just goes without saying that whenever you have a formidable fighter, brilliant commander, dragon rider, the ambitious, authoritative, all of those traits kind of lend themselves to having a guy who's going to go out and get stuff done. And so I think the main part that we turn our attention to, yes, I want to conquer the neck and kind of round out our borders, but I think the main bulk of what we need to deal with is right here. The Reach is kind of in a bit of a state of flux. It's been feudal for hundreds of years, and now it's ruled by a republic, and we can't allow that. Republics are for the East, and I think it goes without saying that a feudal empire would be more suited for what we have going on here in Westeros, but in the woods, basically. And so I don't know how long we'll keep it. It'll probably make conquering the Reach will probably make for better borders for a lot of our normal kingdoms. So the Reach will actually look a lot different than it does right now. But that will be kind of on our list. And actually, the Reach extends all the way down into here. And I think at that point, it would just make a ton of sense for us to round out the plan and go ahead and move all the way through Dorne, and kind of have a full-on, Southern Kingdom, basically, and be able to define a couple more kingdoms down here, and then figure out how to square things off with the North. I don't know that we'll conquer the North. If we do, it will be for the sole purpose of installing our own ruler up there, kind of like what we did with the Iron Isles up here. It just makes more sense for us to really have that mentality of, we want to kind of keep our borders separate from their borders, but it allows us the opportunity or it affords us the opportunity to really take control of what the lands that we want and the things that we want to have control of. So all of that kind of goes into this kind of future stretch that we have for this particular series, and it makes it a lot of fun to think about. Like, this is just look at how this is shaped out. I love the way this looks. It's so unique, it's so different. If you're like just now watching all of this and you're used to seeing the normal borders, this is probably horrifying you, but this is cool for me to know that we built this. Like, we built this from scratch, from the ground up. We built this, and it's an incredible thing, man. It's an incredible, amazing thing to see how all of this has shaped out, how all of you guys have gotten involved. I mean, every Lord Paramount is either a custom character or a custom house, every one of them. And all of them have different influences. We've had guys who've come up, from nowhere and are now High Lords. The time has come for us to begin the process of adding more custom characters in. And so I will say this is I've been kind of saving this, but today on the Discord server, you will see appear a application room. basically what it's going to be is it's going to be a process for you to apply for a custom character in this particular series, and it will kind of be a test run for the Knights of Andalos series that's coming out, because that is going to be entirely custom. Every character in that series is going to be custom, so it'll be kind of a trial run to see what the interest level is, what the response looks like, because I don't want to be inundated with these things. And so if you apply, I can't guarantee that there will be a spot for you, but it'll give you the opportunity to apply, and depending on what's available, who's available, all that kind of stuff will kind of make sense. There is a couple of locations, especially like here, the void left by moving Edric Weirwood out. I kind of had to just, one of the guys that I had in my court who actually married Marissa, the comely healer, from the Valyrian Steel Quest, and their 2 kids. It's just a house that it just made sense to move them over. They're quick, they have potential for to be really well off, but I don't want them to have 2 high lordships. You know what I mean? I'd rather them just be the Lord of Goldbrook or Goodbrook, and then have a custom character have these things. So it just makes sense for us to kind of proceed that way. We do have a couple of voids that we need to start managing in this, and there's a lot of space for people. Creating custom characters isn't the easiest process, but it is, like, whenever you look and you see this, like, just take this in right now. When you look and you see this, it's just amazing, and it's totally worth it. So those are the plans for the future. Those are what we have. That's what we're looking at right now. I know this episode has been kind of talky and not really actiony, but this is kind of what we're looking at. This is going forward what we're the response to a great kingdom is greatly defined borders that divvy up responsibility and allow us to kind of mold and shape ourselves into something that is greater than where we came from. And I think that this accomplished that goal, to say the least. So let me know what you think down in the comment section. I would love to hear back from you guys on all of this. You guys are amazing. I am so excited for the future of this channel. And if you like this video, if you like all the changes and everything, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, please be sure to go ahead and do that. Check out all of the amazing stuff that we have going on, Patreon, Discord, all that kind of stuff. Links are in the description of every single video. You guys are amazing. I love the bear pack, and I am going to go ahead and sign off, so I will see you later.